Let's talk Austin Blaske. SEC pedigree. Also comes from a championship background. He's taken some meaningful reps across his career. What you got on Austin Blaske for us?
Yeah, man, he's a leader in the room, which you need. Like you said, a ton of experience. Another guy that we have. It seems like we say this a lot. Another SEC guy, right? Came over, of course, last year. Started in all 12 games at center for us. And I think this year, man, he may be our center, but I think he may play guard. And Troy, I want you to talk. I think you actually talked to his dad at the open practice. So talk a little bit about that. But I mean, he's very, very versatile. So he can play tackle, he can play guard, he can play center. He's last year he was our leading, or he was second best on the team and by PFF grade at an 85.6 grade in pass protection. He's also very good in run blocking. And then last year he was, knock on wood, man, he was healthy. Played 737 snaps last year. So a guy that wrestled in high school, usually though, Willie Lampkin. He was I believe Willie was a state champion wrestler. So those linemen that wrestle are normally very good. So Blaske, a big body, 6'5", 310. But he's going to be the leader, one of the leaders. I think we got a few leaders in that room. He's going to be a guy that can play multiple positions and I think be huge. And if he has a builds on the year he had last year, he'll be a guy playing in the NFL next year. So,
and I mean,
very excited.
Trevor, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I mean, you can't short my guy's 40 time that we came across either. I mean, he's what, 6'5", roughly 310, running a 5.26 40. That's moving.
I wasn't sure what a normal O lineman time was, so I didn't want to put it out there.
I don't know. That seems fast to me for a guy
at that size.
Right?
That's about what we're running these days at 180 pounds.
and what did he do in high school again?
He wrestled. Don't bring my accent out.
I love how you say that. I saw Troy smile too when he said that, by the way.
Yeah, that's the country in me coming out, but he was a big get last year when we got him from Georgia, and he was huge for us. So he should hopefully, like I said, stay healthy this year. He'll be a guy that plays a lot for us.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that picture, I mean, by far, that's one of my favorite uniform combos there. But, I mean, he just looks like a mean dude in the trenches.
And I don't know if y'all have ever seen his dad at a game, but his dad's fit, man. His dad looks like he means business too. So he came from a good family.
Yeah, his dad is a freaking monster of a human being. That dude is like I'm short, so I've looked up to a lot of people in my life, but you've got to like look up to even have a conversation with this dude. But super cool guy. I had the chance to meet him at the Practice Like a Pro event up there in the Blue Zone. Super good guy, but I'm gonna piggyback off Trevor and jump into Austin Blaske. So he was a guy, and correct me if I'm wrong, he didn't enter the portal. He just announced that he was coming back, correct? Is that right, Trevor?
I can't remember back that far. I don't remember. I don't know.
Either way, though, like a guy that you can confidently say you're glad to come back and to have in your locker room and in that offensive line room, because like Trevor said, he's a leader. He's the leader in that room, played a ton of snaps for us last year. But the thing about Austin that I think is really worth noting is his versatility. And that's going to serve a big role for us this year as an offensive line, as a whole. Because I do think while we do have bodies in this room, I do think that that this staff is still trying to piece together and get a solid rotation on who's going to play where. And it's good to have a guy like Austin that you can plug and play, and test out in different positions. Because whereas he may be good in one spot, there may be another guy that you can plug in another spot that Austin's good at playing because he's good at that position as well, if you understand where I'm going with that. But his versatility is something that you love to have. His leadership, like Trevor said, man, he comes from a good family. He's got a good head on his shoulders. Played, at the SEC levels, got 2 rings, and I had a chance to get a good look at both of those rings, or at least one of them, when I met his dad. But definitely a guy that you're excited to have back on your offensive line and really to anchor down on that unit.
And to answer your question, Troy, so he went in the portal when we didn't have a coach, and the day
That's right.
Bill was hired, I believe he said, "I'm taking myself out of the portal." So
I thought that was the case. I was about 90% sure that was what it was. So yeah, a guy that threw his name in the hat. Bill was hired, and the Belichick effect took place, and he's back with us. So it's super excited to have Austin back in our offensive line room. I think he's going to do big things for us this year, for sure.
Yeah, 6'5", 310, versatile player, can play guard, can play tackle. I mean, it's always good to have those types. And as far as we know, runs a killer 40 for his size. I mean, it sounds good to me. I mean, right? Trevor,
and I'll piggyback on this too. He's good in pass blocking situations, which I think right now is kind of a big question mark with this offensive line going into fall camp. I think in the Practice Like a Pro event, they more than proved, at least to me, that run blocking is where they excel. Now, in that event, we also didn't, correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, but we didn't have some of the guys that we've got now at that event. So it'll be, and we've added some really, and we're going to talk about them, here in just a second, but we've added some really good talent. So it'll be anxious to see what the product was before versus, what we'll see later on in the year. Definitely something to be excited about. I had to throw that in the mix there.
Yeah, that's good. Trevor, you got anything else you want to add before we move on to our next one?
I'm good, bro.
That's good. So that's Austin Blaske, can play both tackle, guard. I think you said, Trevor, more than likely, or was it you, Troy, that said we're probably going to see him at which position was that again?
I think he'll play guard this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just what
I think he was bouncing, if I'm not mistaken, he was bouncing between tackle and guard during the spring. And he can hold it down. He's truly a guy that can play every position on the offensive line. And you want that. You want a guy that you can throw in the mix somewhere else. If another guy, is can't play this position but can play another one really well, you have Austin that you can throw in at another spot, and he can pick up where he left off at another spot on the offensive line too.
Hey, Tar Pit crew. Thanks for tuning in today. You just heard a clip from a recent episode where we broke down one of the key position groups. If this episode hit the mark, do us a favor, like it, drop a comment, and share it with a friend. That kind of support keeps the podcast rolling. You can catch full episodes of the Tar Pit Podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Don't forget to follow and subscribe today. The Tar Pit Podcast is proudly powered by Untapped Sports Network. Thanks for listening, and as always, go Heels.